Happy 2018, everybody. This is Arman. It is January 12th, and welcome to a new year. It's a great time to reflect, obviously, on what the past year has been for us. What did we achieve? What did we struggle with? And how that impacts what our goals are for the new year, for the new season, so to speak. It's a really exciting time. It's something that on both a personal level and a business professional level, I definitely allocate a good amount of time and energy in the last couple of weeks of the prior year, as well as the first 2 weeks, which we're still in here, of the new year, to really hone in on the life vision, on basically what my spirit is ultimately wanting from me, and how that's going to impact my plan, my schedule, and maybe some changes that I'm looking to make in the new year. So hopefully everyone's putting some energy and effort into that process. And right around now, right around January 15th, I always say that's really when the new year starts. So we got another couple of days here. There's a long weekend coming up with MLK, Martin Luther King Day, this coming Monday. So I'd strongly urge you to use some time this weekend to really finalize, if you haven't already, your plans for the new year. Here on the Polymath project, what we like to do, as you know if you've tuned in before, is really explore some of the important issues that are going on in the world right now, and things that we can actually take action on as individuals. What can we do to participate in this project and not be observers, in life or in the world, as day-to-day media news, continues to spin stories and propaganda around our heads. Are we sitting there like a deer in headlights and feeling kind of powerless in the wake of all these things that are happening in politics and in economics and business and in the world? Or are we able to kind of be empowered and feel that we can make a difference, that we can do something in our own lives, for our families, for our communities, for the world, by joining a company or a movement or starting something on your own? That's what I focus on and what I encourage, and where you see people generally feeling empowered and effective and happy in life is when they found their purpose and their vibe and what they need to spend their energy on. So one of the big topics for 2017, one of the big stories, and we had an episode on it in December, I believe, is this wild world of cryptocurrencies. If you haven't heard about it by now, with the Bitcoin craze and cryptocurrencies in general and ICOs, then you've been living either on a mountaintop or under a rock somewhere, or congratulations, you've managed to keep media and internet out of your life. But in reality, most people have heard about it at some level at this point, and it's something that I've been studying religiously for the last several months. To a point where I've got a portfolio of my own personal finance investments, as well as we're looking at the underlying blockchain technology, this decentralized, highly secure, usually open source technology architecture that has really enabled Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies like Ethereum and many, many others that we could name, has enabled them to be really impact players as technologies, as currencies, as organizations that are being valued in the millions and billions of dollars. It's not happening by mistake, and it's not just some crazy bubble. There's a lot of underlying dynamics at work here. There's a whole concept of peer-to-peer financial transactions and other kinds of peer-to-peer agreements, which don't want to go through the middleman, the intermediaries like banks and governments, which obviously stimulates or raises flags amongst typical authority figures like central banks and governments that don't like it when people don't run everything through them and they can't track everything. So this ties into net neutrality, it ties into privacy issues and all the things that we've seen and heard going on over the last 5-10 years. It's been going on forever, but with the advent of internet, obviously the trackability and traceability of things has taken on a new level, where we're all carrying these phones around and they're pretty much following us around and able to do so through the phone. So we can go in so many directions with this topic. That's why we're going to be speaking about it quite a bit. I believe that for 2018, this is going to be the big story and the big deal. And it's not just a fluff buzz kind of thing. It's real. This is real. It's here to stay. There's going to be a lot of fighting and politics and legality, legal infrastructure being created around it to try to do what they always do, contain, control to the best of their abilities, they being the central authorities. And the techies, the technologists, and the business entrepreneurs that are kind of behind blockchain and cryptocurrencies are going to continue innovating and finding ways to do to secure people's privacy and people's rights, and to allow people to not just make money by potentially investing in promising companies and currencies, but to just use these innovative alternative forms of currency. Last time we talked about this, we talked about the units of measure, how our energy and our effort as we spend it hopefully ends up translating into something productive, something positive, something that's valuable and can be exchanged for some form of money or currency that we can then use to spend the way we choose to. So the cryptocurrency movement and infrastructure, I believe, is a very strong proponent of that and allows us to have new creative formats and ways to exchange value with people in the way we choose to, again, without needing to work through MasterCard or Visa or Chase Bank or whoever else we may want to name. And so what I thought would be productive today, this will be the first of a several part series. I'm not sure how many parts we'll need, or if we'll just go on as long as we need to, as long as there's value in it. A bit of a tutorial for those of you who maybe haven't dipped your toe in yet, or are wondering, is it too late? Or this whole FOMO, fear of missing out thing. It's definitely not too late, and there's really no missing out. Of course, if we all had $10,000 in Bitcoin or Ethereum last year at this time, that would be worth, over $400,000 or $500,000 now, and that's probably not going to happen again, at least not with these major players like Bitcoin. But every day there's new entrants into this market, which could be the next Bitcoin, right? So there's opportunities here to invest. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not giving advice on that level, but I will share with you a little bit about how I'm approaching it, and show you some tools and analytical tools and informational tools where you can do your own research and make your own choices. Just like the stock market, just like any investment, there's always a risk. Always a risk, so you have to, if you have a financial advisor or whatever other process you use, or people you depend on for advice, certainly check with them as well. So let's dive into it a little bit. I would say that if you don't have, and again, there's a global audience and global markets, so depending on where you live, different websites, different digital wallets may or may not be available to you, right? So there's this concept of the digital wallet, which is where you can exchange your fiat, or let's say US dollar if you're in America, for some Bitcoin, and just store it in a wallet. You could store Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, or Bitcoin Cash. Let's actually go to the most popular one right now. Maybe we could switch over to the screen here. No video, but just looking at Coinbase, which is a very well-funded company, and they're the #1 digital wallet, at least in the States, and I believe the world as well. And what we can see here is in the dashboard right on top, you'll see Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, and Litecoin. And you could kind of see how each one has grown here. Ethereum's been really nice. It's currently at 1231. And then you could see it changing there, but this is the change over a day. If we look at the change over, let's say, a week, we could see that it's been up 250%, I'm sorry, 25%, $246 over the last week, and over the last month, been up 75%. Over the last year, as I said, a year ago to now, 12,000%. That's not going to happen again this year at that level. but some of these gains, even in a month, 25%, 75%, are pretty major. So therefore, the first step, if you haven't done so already, is to open a Coinbase account. It's pretty simple to do. They will look to verify your identity, uploading a picture of your license, putting in some information, which is all fine and secure, just like opening a bank account. They got to make sure you're a legitimate person. Once that happens, from the dashboard, you can buy. Let's say you want to buy some Bitcoin. You go to the Buy Sell tab, and then you can choose what to buy, and then your payment method, either your bank account, or you can upload a credit card. And let's say you're going to buy, $1,000 worth of Bitcoin. It's going to tell you what that equates to here, 0.0723 Bitcoin. And then if I clicked here, I won't actually do it at this moment. I would actually buy that Bitcoin. It's actually not a bad time to buy it, under 14,000. So yeah, maybe I will go ahead and just buy that right now. Confirm the transaction. And that should get confirmed in a minute, and then it's usually not available in your wallet. Sometimes it takes a couple of days, and sometimes it's instant. This is where, since all these systems are new and they're being kind of overloaded right now, the funds aren't always available in your wallet right away. But here it's saying that it will be available instantly, and we can see it right there now in my wallet. Of course, there are transaction fees, so that $1,000 amounted to $980, so paid $19-20 to get that Bitcoin. Now, the challenge is, from here, all you can do in Coinbase is move your money or keep your money in these 4 coins. I'm going to show you another site called coinmarketcap.com, where you can do research, and you can see here a list of all 1,400 cryptocurrencies that are currently being listed. It doesn't mean there's only 1,400 out there. It just means that CoinMarketCap is, these are the ones they're listing, which are the majority of them, and the serious ones. And you could see here, it sorts it automatically by market cap, which means the value of the companies. You can see Bitcoin's worth $230 billion right now. It's number 1 by far. Ethereum, about half that value, 120 billion, and so on, all the way down this list. You can sort this a lot of different ways. If you want to sort it by, let's say, which coins have changed the most in the last 24 hours, which a lot of people like to look at that very recent trend, like what's trending essentially. You can click that and you could see, oh wow, look at some of these that have grown literally in a day 100%. Smart cash. I have no idea what some of these are. It's impossible to study all of them. But actually the last few days have been a bit of a downtrend, I think, since Christmas and the holidays essentially. A lot of people have been drawing their money out of these cryptos in order to pay for holiday gifts and travel and things of that nature. A lot of so-called experts, in the field, and I agree, have predicted that there'd be a bit of a downtrend between holidays and this point in time, because 2017 was such an incredible, literally unprecedented ramp up in valuations of these, almost all the currencies. I do believe, again, not a financial advisor, not giving advice, that starting the middle of this month and forward, we're going to start seeing a big uptick again, generally across the board. But coming in to do your own research into CoinMarketCap is a good idea, and I'm going to demonstrate to you here. I'm going to go back to market cap as an indicator. Another good indicator is to look at the volume, the trading volume, because trading volume, more trading volume doesn't always mean a positive thing. It means a lot of people may be trading out, but you want to see where there's attention, where there's energy. It usually is because there's media or news about the company. So if I sort by trading volume, you could see almost the same ranking as valuations, but there's some other ones that are smaller, like this Tether is number 4 in trading volume, It's not up or down too much, but there's just a lot of volume, a lot of activity. So, I mean, there's probably some news or media about that, and it's only $1, a share there, so it might be worth, hey, if I took that $1,000 that I just bought Bitcoin and I bought Tether, I'd get 1,000 shares of Tether at $1 a piece, and then that's something that would be in my radar that I would be looking at and evaluating. Now, how do you go deeper beyond a name and a logo? How do I evaluate now what is Tether, what is EOS? EOS is actually one I've been keeping my eye on, and it's been growing quite nicely, but I don't have any yet. So this is what you do. You click in, and you get to evaluate a little deeper what the chart, right? So this is the chart for EOS. I could look at it over the last month, 1M, and follow this line here and see, look, it was $5 exactly a month ago, $5.36 a month ago, and you could follow all the way to today. Now it's $14, so it's gone up 3x. So again, if you had $1,000, you'd now have $3,000 if you put in $1,000 in EOS a month ago. Again, that's not going to happen with everyone. You could also lose 3x. They don't all always go up, just like the stock market, just like any investment. But okay, EOS looks like it has a nice trend and a nice upswing, even though some others have generally been a little quieter. But how do you learn more about what EOS even is? Usually their websites are listed here. You could look into chat. Telegram, the hottest new social network, a phenomenal company, simply just a group chat that's managed for each of these cryptocurrencies, has a Telegram channel that basically acts as customer service for them. So I'd highly recommend you downloading the Telegram app on your mobile phone, as well as if you have Mac or PC, they'll have an app for your computer where you could download it as well, and you could just add the channels for the companies that you're either invested in or the ones you're watching, and just kind of see what people are saying. And literally, it's back to old school 101 internet. It's chat rooms, basically, which evolved into social networks and other things, and now we're kind of back to chat rooms as kind of the leading way to get a feel for what people are saying. So you want to see what people are saying. Obviously, people who hold these stocks, they're not stocks, they're not securities, they're tokens, but people who hold them in the chat rooms are usually very bullish. So they're just encouraging people to buy, to hold. So there's a lot of marketing and promotion going on and hype, a lot of hype going on. I could sit here on this kind of video and say, here's 10 things, buy them because I'm in them, and if I could influence 1 million people to buy them, it would help the value of what I own. So a lot of people are doing that. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's kind of the way of the marketing and financial world. It's exactly how most stocks grow, whether it's even Google or Facebook or big companies doing big things. When they get good PR, good stories, and supposedly independent, objective analysts talking about them, that's good news on the Wall Street Journal. That raises the stock price. Same deal here, but just in a much more new marketplace. So again, back to EOS. I'm in the page on CoinMarketCap. I'll click on the website. You always want to look at a website, make sure, it just looks generally nice and it presents itself well. Usually besides a logo, this is nice. They'll give you a one-sentence kind of elevator pitch. The EOS.io testnet has arrived. Scalable, decentralized applications can now be built and tested in a public environment. So they're basically saying they're using the blockchain to build an infrastructure that other people can build on top of. So it's less of, they will have their own currency, but the real value of their company is less about their currency and more about the actual infrastructure and the technology they've built that allows other people that want to do blockchain-related applications and apps and things of that nature can use EOS as kind of a platform. So I like that. Infrastructure plays, like Ethereum, which is number 2 in the whole market, is an infrastructure technology company, a blockchain tech company. So in that sense, I think it's a good area to be in. And besides reading a little bit about their product and technology, and of course the white paper. The white paper is really the business plan for the cryptocurrency company. When Bitcoin launched years back, they had a very simple 8-page white paper Most companies now have anywhere from a 5, 8-page to a 50, 100-page white paper, and some break it up. Have a technical white paper, more of a general white paper, and then a one-pager, which is more like a simple brochure. We as B Labs, the company that I'm the founder of, which manages a number of startups, we're actually investing in and starting our own blockchain company called 401 Kid. I won't talk about that too much today, but you'll hear much more news about that in the coming weeks. And so we're finalizing our white paper. So you'll see most of these companies, there's kind of like a checklist and a template to how they run. It's a nice website that explains their product. It's their white paper, which is a PDF, which you should definitely download and read for any company before you invest in it. I recommend that. And then you'll see about their management team. You'll see some news. You want to see who's behind the company, what their backgrounds are. You could see here, if you're looking at this screen, that they're in the midst of a token distribution event right now. So this is very interesting. When these currencies come onto the market, come onto these exchanges, or these wallets become available, again, they're being priced just like stocks, similarly, or just like, let's say, currencies. If you're into foreign exchange, the value of currencies, they're being priced there, and the prices of the values are going up and down. Before they go, quote unquote, public on the exchanges, though, there's usually these token events, these pre-sale events that are called ICOs, or initial coin offerings. To me, that's the best opportunity to get involved in this market. Again, I'm more of a risk taker, more an entrepreneur that wants to get in on things very early before they grow and become, as popular as, let's say, Bitcoin or Ethereum are now. It's great to have some larger established ones, but it's also nice to look at some up-and-comers. And so what happens in these ICOs is that you have a chance to get in at a very low price, like the lowest price that will probably ever exist for some of these tokens, before it starts being traded in these exchanges, right? So there's usually anywhere from a 30-day to a 90-day period where there's what's called an ICO presale, that internationally people can invest. And depending on where the company's based, they may exclude people from certain countries. Like right now, unfortunately, a lot of ICOs are excluding US investors because they're scared of the SEC and the US government, and that's trying to really regulate and kind of create a bit of a firewall to supposedly protect non-sophisticated or non-accredited investors from being scammed. And there certainly are a bunch of scammy things, or a bunch of companies that have some questionable ideas, but that are still raising money. So I certainly understand the protection element, investor protection element, but I think to prevent people from investing their money the way they might want to, like let's say I want to get into a particular ICO, even if I'm an accredited investor and I can prove that, the company is just like, forget it, you're from the US, we don't want to even do the diligence. So, we're going to detect your IP address and we're not even going to let you click the link to get in. So that's a shame, and that's not happening in every case, but a lot of cases right now, because this is all so new, and again, governments and big banks are scrambling to figure out, how are we going to play this game? Are we going to play along and try to just get our piece, or are we going to try to shut it down because it's taking our own currency out of circulation? People aren't holding dollars anymore. They'd rather hold Bitcoin and EOS coin and Ethereum, which is a very interesting trend. I don't think they can fight it. I mean, they can fight it, but it's fighting a losing battle. It's like trying to say the internet or cell phone technology is not going to work. We got to stick with the landlines. We got to stick with something else. We got to control this thing. People are going to be able to communicate with each other. It's the losing battle, the losing side of the battle, but it's the legacy, and the legacy always fights to retain its relevance, even when it's clear how outdated it is. So our political systems, our financial systems, all these control mechanisms and structures are crumbling essentially before our very own eyes, and no worries. At the same time, we have this global ecosystem that's vibrant, that's fresh, that's decentralized. Some of these companies like Bitcoin and even, I believe, EOS don't even have, centralized ownership or boards. It's just completely decentralized. There's a lot of nonprofits in this field. So this isn't like a greed scam here. This is, although there are some scammy things going on, this is something legitimate. I wish I can go much deeper into this. I'll have to close soon, but I promise that we'll do more videos in the coming weeks. I'll quickly say, once you've done some research on coin market cap and you've decided what you want to do, you've opened your Coinbase account, you've got some Bitcoin, you now need to open up an account on one of the exchanges. Again, unfortunately, a lot of the exchanges like Binance, which I'm showing here, as well as Bittrex, and My Ether Wallet, and Qcoin. I'll just show you 4 of them. There's like about 50 plus, maybe even closer to 100 at this point. A lot of them aren't even accepting new customers because they're getting like 100,000 requests a day. And there's different issues that are coming up, scalability issues. So you'll have to play around, and depending on the country you're in, seeing which exchange you can open up on. Once you do open up, let's say on Binance, you could basically transfer your Bitcoin from Coinbase to Binance, and then in Binance you'll have this whole menu of different coins, almost as many as you see on CoinMarketCap there, and you could actually exchange Bitcoin or Ethereum and start buying those other coins. So those are the steps. And then as far as ICO research, so again, this is where you could buy in before anything is even listed on an exchange. I'm going to quickly give you 3 sites to look at: ICObench.com, ICOdrops.com, and ICOstats.com. 3 good sites that basically list different ICOs, tell you when they start. They give you videos of the founders and kind of like a little snippet of the story. They even rate them and evaluate them. How objective those ratings are, I'm not sure, because there's a lot of pay for placement going on here where you could publish ICOs, and it's basically like a PR promotional engine there. So I will leave you with that. You got your Coinbase wallet, and there's other wallets. I really don't like Coinbase as a company too much. I think that, again, there's a lot of reasons for that. We can go into another time, but it's pretty much one of the only ways into the game, and then you have to figure out how to get on one of the exchanges so you can move money out of your wallet into the exchanges. Binance, Bittrex, 2 of my favorites, but they're both in the US now, at least not accepting new customers for the moment. That has to change eventually if they want to stay in business. And then research some ICOs on the sites that I mentioned there. Get started with that, see how you do, and I'll visit with you in a week or so, and we'll have another session on crypto trading and training. Take care, enjoy 2018, good luck, get your goals together, and let's have a great year collectively. Take care.